Welcome back to ESPR Boxing's YouTube channel. It's Niall, and I'm delighted tonight to be joined by Owen and our man across the pond, Thomas. And we're in big fight breakdown mode for this one, and it's a big one. It's one I can't wait for. Certainly, it's Devin Haney defending his WBC super lightweight title against Ryan Garcia Saturday, April 20th, the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. And yeah, this is going to be a good one. So, fellas, hope you're well. Let's jump straight in because there's a lot to talk about in this one, to be honest. What I wanted to kind of discuss first of all is both men's kind of standings within the 140-pound division. It's an interesting division. There's been, Josh Taylor, of course, once an undisputed king, all the belts, holding all the belts. But now we have kind of four separate champions, which is a unique situation for a division these days in boxing. Four individual kind of title holders. But I'm just wondering where you place kind of. Well, I suppose Devin Haney more so than Ryan Garcia. It's the WBC champion. Where would you place his standing among the best at that weight class? Would you count Devin Haney to be the best super lightweight in the world at the minute? There's the likes of Teofimo Lopez, of course, the WBO champion, Subriel Matias, Rolly Romero, the other title holders. But do you think that Devin Haney is the best? Do you think that he needs to beat Ryan Garcia to be the best, or do you think Teofimo Lopez is the best super lightweight? I'll start with you, Thomas, since you're our American representative here for this stateside fight. What do you think?
Sure. Well, I definitely think he needs to beat Ryan, but even more so, think he needs to beat Tio, and I definitely think they need to fight it out. But at the end of the day, I do think that Devin Haney will come out on top if they did fight it out. I just think he's the more technically sound fighter out of, you know, everyone, all the champions in the division. The most well-rounded, in my opinion. And at least compared to Tiafimo, he's a lot more consistent in his performances. So I definitely see him coming out on top if all the champs did fight it out.
Interesting. How about you, Owen? Do you think Devin Haney is number one, or does he need to get that win over Teofimo Lopez to really kind of cement himself? Obviously, not looking past the Ryan Garcia challenge, but where do you rank Haney at 140?
I think he's the top. I've made obviously comments before and how many weights I think Haney could win world titles at, etc. I said before, way before he become undisputed at lightweight. I said he'd go up. I said he'd sweep out the division. Obviously to cement yourself as the best, when you go up division, he needs to have more than one fight. Regis Prograis to step up a weight and beat Regis Prograis in your first fight at the weight isn't a bad victory for the old CV. But yeah, I think obviously we'll get onto predictions, etc. later on. But without going too much into detail, I think even after this Ryan Garcia fight, I think he is the best at the weight, and I think he'll definitely cement himself there. But to do so, you do need more than one victory.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, really. Like I have to kind of echo kind of what Thomas says. I think talent wise, he's the best.
Mm.
I think boxing IQ and skill, I think he's absolutely the best. But on, as you say, you do need to have that more than one victory. And
Mm.
as things stand, Teofimo Lopez is the man who beat the man at 140. Say what you want about that version of Josh Taylor that he beat, but he beat the man. So I think for now that has to still place him at number one for me. But again, to agree with Thomas, I think if Teofimo Lopez fought Devin Haney, and I think that's a dream fight, I think Devin Haney would win. That's no knock on Teofimo Lopez, but I just think Devin Haney is a marvelous boxer. Myself and Owen agree. We've been long time Devin Haney fans on the channel on the SBR. So yeah, I do think Haney will come out on top, but. For now, I'd say Teofimo Lopez is the best at 140 for me, just purely because the Josh Taylor win, to be honest. So yeah, let's dive into the fight now itself. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. course, Ryan Garcia, very kind of divisive character. Should he have done more by now, or what? It's the talent is clearly there, but the mindset is the mindset there. Who knows? I want to talk about stylistically, this one before we get into kind of overall predictions. Just basically where we think this fight is won and lost. Devin Haney, I think, kind of unanimous verdict there. He's the better boxer. Garcia is the bigger puncher. Devin Haney's been hurt before. Ryan Garcia's been stopped before. So, just without getting into predictions, talk to me about how both should approach this fight. I'll start with Owen on this one. Do you think Garcia has to knock Devin Haney out? Can he outpoint him? Will Devin Haney win it? Can he knock Ryan Garcia out like he's been stopped before, but obviously not the puncher that Gervonta Davis is. So yeah, how does this one be approached from both men stylistically, do you think, without giving a prediction away just yet?
I think it's one of those that you can fall flat on your face. Even before predictions, I just think I really don't see how Ryan Garcia can win this fight on points. I think he has to stop Devin Haney. I think Haney's boxing IQ, boxing on the back foot, switching it up, boxing on the inside, getting in, getting out. The art of hit and don't get hit levels above what Garcia can do in that aspect. Obviously, Garcia's a bigger puncher than Devin Haney, but I just think Garcia has to go for the knockout. I think he's got to work the body. He's got to take Devin Haney's gas tank away from him in order to stop the combinations and the moving around, boxing on the back foot, as I said. So yeah, and look for the stoppage for Ryan Garcia. Whereas I think Haney, it's business as usual. I think he can go in there, look to outbox him. And listen, Luke Campbell, not the biggest puncher in the world, hurt Ryan Garcia and hurt him badly. And it was a case of if Luke Campbell had sort of a nasty streak in him, who knows, he could have stopped Ryan Garcia. But fact of the matter is he did hurt him. He just didn't have that power, or he just bit like the sort of analogy I look at is when David Price wobbled Povetkin and just didn't jump all over him. That's what that sort of scenario reminds me of, and obviously we all know how that fight ended. But yeah, I think with the way Ryan Garcia has been caught before, could Devin Haney stop him? Possibly. I think if he did stop him, it'd be an accumulation of shots, and it'd be sort of a referee stoppage. He's not going to spark him out cold. So yeah, I think Garcia bodywork and look for the stoppage, and Haney just break him down as usual.
Good stuff. Thomas, how about you? Would you agree in the fact that Ryan Garcia can't outpoint Devin Haney here? He has to stop him, or do you think he could pull off a points win? How do you see it going down?
No, excuse me. I absolutely agree with Owen. I think you definitely can't stand and just box with Devin Haney. I think you have to overwhelm him with volume. It would definitely help if size and physicality and strength was on your side too. You can't just let him pick you apart from the distance. And it's going to be tricky for Ryan because he's not really, he's not like a rough, rugged, high volume puncher. He's more of a boxer puncher, and he will sit back at a distance and try to box and find the power shot. But I don't think that'll work with Haney. I think like Owen said, he's going to have to be the aggressor, look for the stoppage and work the body, get him tired and wear him down. But we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with the two of you. I think Garcia has to kind of get the stoppage here, and to be honest with you, I think he has to hurt him early, at least get his attention early. Get Haney's attention and hurt him. Haney's been kind of wobbled before; he's not been badly hurt, but Garcia has the power, especially in that left hook, to really hurt him. And I'm so curious to see in this fight. The one big question is for me is if Devin Haney gets hurt badly, how does he respond? I'd love to see him get really rocked to his boots just to see can he dig in and have that not firefight, but just show that fortitude to kind of drag himself through. I think he personally could if he gets hurt. I think he has that kind of dog in him that he can drag himself through this. But yeah, I'd love to see how he responds to getting tagged by a big Garcia left hook early. But I just think Devin Haney, I think he's pretty much the best fighter in the world at controlling that kind of mid to long range distance with his jab. I think his boxing IQ and his jab in that sort of range is beautiful. And I just think Garcia is not going to be able to outbox him. He has to kind of, as I say, he has to hurt him early at least and get his respect and then stop him. So I do agree. I think Garcia has only one way to win this fight. It's KO and Devin Haney. Would it surprise me to see Devin Haney stop Ryan Garcia as well? No, don't think so. As Owen said, an accumulation of shots, just sharper shots, and that build up could get to him. And we've seen Garcia stop before, and kind of controversially, could he have carried on? Who knows? I don't want to use the quit word, but there is that kind of seeded out there with Ryan Garcia. So yeah, I think we're in agreement on that one. So. Let's get to predictions now, and I'll stick with Thomas on this one. We discussed how the fight, has to play out stylistically for both men. How do you think it's going to end? Can Garcia stop him? How much of a chance are you giving that to happen, or will Haney just continue his rise and beat him on points comfortably?
Sure. I could see Ryan catching him with something and hurting him, but I think that if that does happen, Haney will get through it, and I think he's shown that he could fight through adversity. He's been hurt many times. He had that rough fight with Lomachenko. Um, so I think if he does get hurt, he'll fight through it and continue to box his way. Uh, at first, I thought unanimous decision when this fight was first announced. But just without getting into too much detail, I like many am just concerned about Ryan Garcia's level preparedness for this fight. Um, and I don't know if he could go the distance, to be honest. I'm gonna I'm gonna pick Devin Haney late stoppage, say like round 11, round 10 maybe.
Good stuff. Late stoppage. Devin Haney. How about on? Who wins this one and how?
Um, I mean, what one word to describe Ryan Garcia would probably be brazen. He's never been afraid to say what he thinks and what people think of him. So if you'd have asked me if they'd have fought a year ago, 18 months ago, so that sort of thing, I'd have picked Devin Haney on a unanimous decision. However, with Ryan Garcia's recent behaviour, it is quite worrying, to be honest, in general. And then when you think he's got to get in with someone who's making his way up the pound for pound list and could genuinely box his head off for 12 rounds, it is a worry. So I think for me, everything into account, someone that I thought was going to win anyway, I have to agree with Thomas. I think a stoppage, but I think it could actually come sooner, sort of mid to late, sort of rounds 8, rounds 9. I think the way Garcia has been, do we know, is it all a ploy? Has he been training harder than ever? Or the way it does appear is he training at all, sort of thing? So yeah, I just think we'll see obviously at the weigh-in, especially what sort of shape Garcia's in, how he looks in it. But yeah, I'll be going Devin Haney to break him down. And to be honest, I think I'll have Haney quite comfortably up on the cards at the time of the stoppage as well.
So we've got two Haney wins, and I'm going to make it three. And I have to agree with what Owen says there. I think it's going to be easy. To be honest, I've known Devin Haney unanimous decision. I just think he's on a different kind of planet to Ryan Garcia skill wise. I like Ryan Garcia too. I think he's quite a good fighter to watch. I just think this is an absolutely elite fighter against a world class fighter, and the elite fighter is going to win 99 times out of 100. So I think he widely outboxes him. But if he was to stop him, like you two men said, if he was to stop him late, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I just think this is going to be an easy night's work for Devin Haney. And of course, Ryan Garcia's recent behaviour has to kind of have an effect on this fight. It just has to. It'd be some ploy if it was that. If it was all an act, it'd be some act. I just think he'd be too. His preparation for this has not been ideal at all. So when you're facing someone like Devin Haney, that's a recipe for disaster. So I'm going Devin Haney, wide points, easy night's work to outbox Ryan Garcia all night. So that's our breakdown of predictions. One final question I want to ask is quickly before we left. There's four fighters that could kind of manifest into dream fights for this. There's Devin Haney against Teofimo Lopez in a unification, Shakur Stevenson or Gervonta Davis. You know, if any of them kind of combination of fights happened, they'd be dream fights. I just want to ask you, how quickly, how would you see those fights going if them three were to fight Devin Haney? Who has the best chance of beating them, if any, or does Devin Haney beat them all? I'll go to Owen for this.
I think. Listen, I was quite brave, and I said obviously Devin Haney fights at different weights. I genuinely think we'll see Shakur Stevenson try and take all the titles at lightweight, and I genuinely think by the time it comes round to it, Haney could even be at welterweight. By the time that comes around, Terence Crawford probably won't be on the scene, with age. So if they were to fight, I'd still back Haney, but unfortunately, I think that might be one we just miss out on. I think Teofimo is the fight I really want to see. As it goes stylistically, I don't think there's many better fights in boxing, to be honest. I think it's one of those where it really does become a chess match. And then it comes who's the better man on the night. I love Teofimo Lopez, but honestly, I do think Haney, I think he becomes undisputed again. If the bouts allow for it, if the politics doesn't get in the way, all of that. I know it's easy to say. Obviously, it can happen. Obviously, no one knows really what's going to happen with Matthias, sorry, because he's been rumored to be fighting loads of different names at the weight. But yeah, I'm sure this will come back to haunt me off camera in the group chats. But I think Haney becomes undisputed at super lightweight.
I have to agree. I do. I think if he gets past Teofimo, he does become undisputed again. How about you, Thomas? Stevenson, Tank, Teo. Who has the best chance of beating Haney, if any of them?
So I just think at the end of the day, Devin Haney, he's shown that he has, what it takes. He's proven more. He's shown that he's had that. He can really show that he really shows that championship mentality compared to the other guys. His resume is far better. And I just think at the end of the day, he's more disciplined and well-rounded than, I don't want to say more well-rounded than Shakur, but the other champions around that division for sure. But boy, yeah, I just think at the end of the day, I'd probably favor him against most, if not all, the champions in and around that weight class.
Yeah, I'd have to agree again. I think Haney's gone right to the top of pound for pound lists. So yeah, that's our big fight breakdown for Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, April 20th at the Barclays Centre. WBC Super Lightweight World Title on the line. It's sure to be a great one. Let us know what you think in the comments. Who gets this done and how far they're gonna go. Is Haney going for the top? If Garcia springs the upset, can he head right for the top against the fellow great fighters we mentioned? As always, don't forget to drop us a like on the video, subscribe to socials, and yeah, Owen, Thomas, thanks again and speak soon.